Hey everyone, welcome back to Sarah J. Awesome. Today is not an awesome day. Today is a terrible, terrible day for my Tesla, and yesterday was even worse for my Tesla. The second or third week that I had my car, I was actually on the way to get two manufacturer defects fixed on my Tesla at the Tesla Service Center, and on the way there in the morning, a rock hit my windshield and gave me a little chip. That was early October of last year. A few weeks ago, another rock hit my windshield and gave me another chip. I've also had several little tings that I could hear, but nothing that I could see. This is because I drive around Houston. I drive 120 miles a day on the freeway, and there's always construction on Houston freeways. It's pretty much never going to stop. We're always expanding, always tons of traffic, always cement trucks on the freeway, and they're always dropping little cement chips, and I can always hear them. Yesterday, on the way to work, was pulling in the parking garage, and at 11,000 miles, I got my first curb rash on my rim, only maybe 2 weeks after I took my aerodynamic hubcaps off. Of course, where the damage was, they wouldn't have protected it anyway. It was my fault, but it wasn't my fault. There was no room to get in the garage, and I didn't realize how close I was to the curb because I was worried about someone running into my front end, and I wasn't looking, and I curb checked my car real bad. It was horrible. I tweeted it on Twitter as soon as I got to the parking garage and saw the damage, and I just wanted to throw up. Then on the way home yesterday, after that, another rock hit my windshield and gave me the worst chip so far in my windshield. And I got home, and then I realized that my custom aero wheel caps that I had put on a couple weeks ago, I had applied them properly the first time. I knew it was a double snap, but the other day I was showing them off to my neighbor, and I popped one off and popped it back on single snap because I was talking and not paying attention. I didn't do the double tap. So on the way home, I went to go look at my curb rash more in the sunlight, and I noticed one of my aero wheel hubcaps had come off. So now I'm back to the original aerodynamic hubcaps. So anyway, I'm gonna do a separate video trying to fix the curb rash. I'll try to show that to you guys real quick. It's really bad. When I touched it, these chunks actually fell off in my hand. You never think it's going to happen to you. I've been so careful. I will have another video on why I think it's actually easier to curb check in a Tesla or an EV than a gas car. But that's a whole another video. Anyway, so today we're going to be focusing on these windshield chips. Basically, I have USAA insurance. Originally, I had a $1,000 deductible for a comprehensive coverage, and then the first week of having the car, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and change that to $500 deductible. I'm glad that I changed it from $1,000 to $500. And then on my first trip, to the Tesla Service Center, I actually did get a quote from them to replace only the front windshield here, not the top panels or the back panel, just this front windshield. And they said $948.58 to replace just the front windshield on the 2020 Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus. It is cheaper to do the deductible, but I worry that that would raise my rate too. It doesn't need to be replaced yet, but this last chip yesterday was pretty bad. I'll show that to you in a minute. It did kind of spider vein out just a tiny bit. So I definitely don't want that cracking any further. I went ahead and called USAA today, and I asked them about using Safelite to get my chips filled so that they won't get any worse. I do pay $156 a month for USAA full coverage auto insurance. I asked them, if my rate would go up from using them to fill the chips through Safelite, and they don't know. So I was not very happy with that answer. I don't know if my rate is going to go up from getting my windshield repaired from this. They said that they will pay for 3 chips. Well, first they said 3 repairs, and I said, well, what do you mean by 3 repairs? Like, is that a certain amount of chips per repair, or is that 3 chips are considered the 3 repairs? And she put me on hold and then came back and said that it's 3 chips total. After 3 chips being repaired, they will recommend that the windshield needs to be replaced using your deductible, or you paying for it yourself, because the integrity of the windshield will be compromised after 3 chips being repaired. So I came out here to verify how many chips I have. For the first time looking closely, there's a lot. There's a lot of freaking chips. But there are 3, luckily, that are big enough that they need to be filled. And they all will fit within the size of a dime. I will show you all that in a second. The rest of the several other ones that are so many I can't even count, honestly, are 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, or smaller. I'm really upset about this. It's not Tesla's fault. It's not the way the car is made or anything. This has happened to all my other cars. It's just how much I drive. So, without further ado, let me show you the damage here. So this is the first one here. And then here's the second one. You can definitely see that one. This is from yesterday. This is the one that has a little spider vein there. There's a lot of tiny chips, like that one right there. This one's about 2 millimeters, and I have several of those. The very first one that happened was this one right here. So I'm gonna get those 3 repaired today. When I called USAA today, they did say that they had some appointments available this afternoon, 2, 3, and 4 o'clock at Safelite, 10, 12 minutes from my house. So that's fantastic because I happen to be off today. I'll update you in a little bit. I just want to add that when I called USAA, I hit the option for the claims department, explained that I needed my glass fixed. They transferred me directly to Safelite in the same phone call, and someone from their Safelite department at USAA went through the rest of the things with me. This isn't costing me anything today, and I didn't have to call Safelite individually. They just transferred me to the department. So that was nice. And they also scheduled the appointment with me on the phone at the same time. We're almost there. It's a big fancy building, so that's good. A lot more professional than the dude at the gas station that didn't know what the heck he was doing. This place is in fact so huge. Let's see if we can find the front door. Right up front. On the driver's side, this was the very first chip I ever got, and it's actually much better than it was. And then the middle chip here, I think it's right there. That one was pretty significant, and it's much better. Okay, so I put a piece of white paper on my dash to kind of get the reflection of just how big this crack is now. You can kind of see it now. So it's at least an inch. It's at least an inch and a half, 2 inches. This was the original little thing right here. It was about 7 millimeters, and now you can see that crack. They did warn me before they started that this could happen, but I didn't really think that it was actually going to happen. I thought it was just something that they had to say. So that does kind of suck. They did tell me that they promised it was not going to spread anymore after this, but time will tell if this actually spreads. Hopefully it does not. Overall, it does look better, but I am worried about this one. So yeah, so the little chip that was in front of my driver's side view over here is better. I can barely see it. Looks like a tiny little smudge now. The one that's in the middle of the windshield looks much better. It also looks like a tiny smudge now. But the one from yesterday that happened that already had the little spider veins kind of coming out off of it that was 7 millimeters. They tried to fix that one, and there is a 2-inch crack now. They did tell me when I got there, they said sometimes when we fix these, the crack or chip does spread a little bit when we put the tool in there to kind of like, I guess, drill out a clean spot for them to put the filler. They said sometimes it can spread, but once it spreads and they stop it and the stuff dries, then it won't spread anymore. It does look better. I tried my best to get y'all a picture, but it does suck that that one side got bigger. I'm maxed out on the amount of chips that I can get repaired, because having more than 3 chips repaired, you know, compromises the integrity of the windshield and it can break more easily. However, that being said, I know for an absolute fact that this is going to happen again. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't happen tomorrow on the way to work. So what I plan on doing from this point is, if I get any more chips in the windshield, I'm not going to go through USAA. I'm just going to go straight to Safelite and probably ask them how much it will cost to get them filled, and then pay cash to get any more chips filled until, you know, eventually I really do get a huge crack and I have to fully replace my windshield through Tesla. In which case I will use my insurance and do the $500 deductible and have the windshield replaced through a Tesla service center. I'm a little worried about the 2-inch crack over there now, but it is what it is. So that's my experience with having chips in the windshield of my Tesla Model 3. I hope that this video was helpful to you, and I hope this doesn't happen to you, but if it does, this was my experience. This was the cost of fixing it. This is how I dealt with it, and that's how I plan to deal with it in the future. It sucks, but at least my window's not completely destroyed. That's it. I hope everyone has a great week, and I'll see you next time.